Welcome to the Aura Evolution Podcast, a sacred place for you to return home to your soul. I'm Helen founder of Helen Creates Beauty and the author of the Aura Color Wheel. This podcast is a sanctuary from soul discovery to soul mastery. Each week, we explore aura wisdom, spirit connection, and energy tools to help you embody your light and live your soul's purpose with clarity, joy, and fulfillment. Take a deep breath. Welcome home.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back live with me for another episode of the Aura Evolution Podcast. I'm your host, Helen I'm the author of the Aura Color Wheel, a system to identify your soul's purpose through your unique soul aura color. And today I'm so excited. I have a guest with me in backstage, Danielle Page, and I'm going to introduce her really soon. Now, before that, I want to make an announcement. Super excited. I'm actually traveling to York, Pennsylvania next weekend. So during the Lionsgate portal for a conference is the new Vision Holistic Expo. And if you are in the East Coast, I highly recommend you to join me in person because I will be also offering in-person soul aura color and spirit message readings. I'm going to drop the link on the chat so that way you can purchase your ticket and spend the weekend with us. I will be also in a Hay House author panel. There are like amazing spiritual teachers to be on stage with me, and as well as a presentation on how to unlock your soul's purpose with the Aura Color Wheel. It will be a awesome Lionsgate portal spending time together. And also, this podcast is live every Monday across all platforms on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And if you are with us live today, welcome to put any questions on the comment with me and the guests directly to the topic that we are discussing. So it will be really interactive and it will be interesting. And if you're tuning in the audio is available Tuesday morning on any platform that you podcasting, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify. So, okay, without delay, I am going to introduce today's guest. Danielle Page is a soul astrologer, consciousness guide, speaker, and luminary leader of a global community. Danielle specializes in cosmic alignment and self-discovery. I love this how sync we are about, soul intelligence.
Very much.
So, yeah, exactly. So Danielle help her clients navigate their spiritual journeys with sovereignty and purpose. She's also here to help you to connect with your higher self to the power of the star, with the power of the stars. So when you align with your business, purpose, and activate the truth of who you really are, you came here to be. She's also the founder of Cosmic Body Collective Membership, Soul Link, Astrology Mastery School Level 1 to 3, Sovereign CEO, and several other courses in her video series on Unified TV, as well as an episode on the Design Networks, the Sabrina Soto Show, and her work has been featured in Vogue Netherlands, Goop, Astrology.com, London Standard, Main Edits, The Numerous, Thought Catalog, J-Date, CBS Radio, and more. Okay, so she's super experienced. I can't wait to bring her on. And let's go, Danielle.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the beautiful intro.
Yeah, thank you for joining the podcast this Monday. I'm so excited to bring you on. I know that you have a lot of wisdom and psychic energy, also from your personal, development journey.
Yeah.
So to begin with, this is a question that I ask all the guests on the show, is that have you taken the soul aura color quiz? What is your soul aura color? Do you resonate with the reading?
Yes. First of all, it was a beautiful, beautiful quiz. And I'm a pink, which is apparently a teacher. So good thing I'm doing what I'm doing. So
yay, awesome.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah. And I think you said that pink is connected to the throat chakra.
Correct. Yeah. So your throat chakra and your root chakra are your strong aura layers. So
Yes.
basically, like communication, teaching, expression that comes to you naturally as a born gift.
Yes.
However, pink soul aura color also has a soul wound in the third eye chakra.
Oh, yeah.
So do you have any, experience related to that?
Yeah. What's really interesting is actually when I was very young, I had one experience. I didn't know at the time, but it was with my third eye. And I saw things so vividly and it scared me so much because I didn't understand what it was. I was too young. And so I remember holding my breath, pulling the covers over my head and just shutting it down from there. And then nothing opened up so I was probably like around 6 or 7. And then that didn't open up until I was about 30 years old. I mean, I had a couple experiences, of course, but for the most part, it didn't open up till I had my awakening at 30. And then that was Pandora's box. And I started seeing everything. I would just sit down in meditation, ask a question, and then I would see the images in front of my face. And so it was so vivid, but the spirit showed me that it just had to happen that way at first so that I understood, because they know that I'm super logical and I probably wouldn't have believed it if it wasn't so literal. So yes, it's been pulled back a little bit so that I can function in life, because when I had my first awakening, it was just too much. So I'm now learning how to live a normal life and also tap into my third eye and see beyond this veil, but also be in this realm.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I also had my Kundalini awakening, around that time, late 20s, early 30s.
Saturn return.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. So it's a very different way of living. I definitely want to get into that a little bit deeper. But it's also interesting that when people take on their soul aura color quiz, they typically find what the soul gift archetype and the soul aura color when they're born with. And through their evolution journey or personal development journey, they kind of going back to their true self a little bit more. Yeah. And that's when the wound healing is, it's almost like the life occurs some situations for you to experience that lesson and that wound healing. And then you can, have that aura layer back into your auric field again.
The contrast of Earth.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly. So for people who don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you find astrology and intuitive work?
Yeah, well, my journey is pretty wild. And so I won't say the whole story because it's just way too long. It is, if you want to listen to my whole story, it's on my podcast. I don't do anymore, but it's still up, Cosmic Body Podcast, episode 1 and 2. But I will say, when I was 30 years old, I was living with my boyfriend in Boston. We went to France to celebrate my 30th birthday. He dumped me in France on my 30th birthday at dinner. Cannot make this up. It was crazy. We ended up coming back to Boston at the time. I was working at an interior architecture firm. I have my master's degree in that. And it was one of the most prestigious firms you could work at. I just wasn't happy. It just wasn't my passion. And I kept saying, I need to help people. So I quit that job, which was kind of unheard of at the time. Everyone asked me what firm was I moving to. And I said, I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing. I just knew that this wasn't my path. So we broke up. I had to move out of the place. I quit my job. I moved back home to California. That's when the economy tanked. It was 2009, the housing market crisis. So there were no design jobs. So now I was living at home. Couldn't find a job, after a 4.5-year master's degree. Couldn't find a job, had no money, was crying over my relationship and really hitting rock bottom. And then a little bit, like a couple months after that, I started waking up, having dreams that were so vivid and they were so real that I would have to write them down. And it would take me like an hour before I could actually function because I saw so much and I felt like I was in a different realm. So I started feeling like something was going on, but I didn't have any words or vocabulary for this. And that kept happening. And then I would see things in my dream and then they would happen during the day.
Wow.
And at this point, I started realizing it felt like deja vu, or it almost felt like the Twilight Zone.
Yes.
So I didn't feel scared, but I kind of was aware that something was happening. And then I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw a spirit looking at me, and I was looking at it and I'm thinking, I'm awake. I'm not sleeping. Oh my gosh, what is this? And I got really scared, not because it was doing anything to me, but because I, didn't see that stuff before really, like a couple of times when I was younger. And from that moment on, again, I didn't have the awareness at the time, But I learned that spirit was impressing stuff into my body. And they were telling me, go meditate. They were telling me, if you're scared, you're going to bring more of this in. I did not sleep with the lights off for about 2 weeks because I was scared. But through that journey, I was understanding that, okay, if I tapped into the frequency of fear, I was literally going to bring more of that in. So my first teacher was spirit, hands down. And so I went to meditate, and then I didn't even know what meditation was. And I just sat there at first, but then through this, I started going deep into meditation, and then things started happening. I started tapping into other realms. And through that, I started seeing that there was a world beyond this physical world. And that's when I didn't understand my path, and I didn't know what was happening. But for the first time in my life, I knew that there was something more, and there was something missing my whole life. And I never knew what it was. And it was like something clicked. And what clicked is I started connecting to my soul in a way that for 30 years I was disconnected from my soul. I didn't have this relationship. I didn't have this connection, and I felt lonely. I felt lost. I felt confused. It was a very hard 30 years of my life, I will say. So after this, then I found astrology. Someone introduced me to astrology, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I didn't really know anything about it. But then I went home that night. This is before, AI, before any of this. I was Googling stuff about astrology.
Yeah.
I stayed up till the sun came up because I was so connected in and locked in. And I started realizing, oh my gosh, this is a way for me to understand me, because I didn't understand who I was anymore. Am I going to be an interior designer? Am I going to be an architect? Is that my path? So I used it to help me understand me. And then through this, it started clicking, and I just started remembering this because my soul has done this before. So I taught myself astrology. I later took classes here and there, but I taught myself astrology. And again, long journey in my 30s. My 30s were also very hard, lots of crying, lots of tears, lots of shedding, lots of not understanding, lots of all the stuff that you see online now that was not online. I was doing that before everyone was a coach, before everyone was a guide, before everyone was doing this. I was doing this in my 30s alone, with spirit, with God. So very confusing, but I made it through. And that's why I help guide people.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. But then we have so many different, awakenings, and we constantly have different awakenings through life. So that's the long or the short of the journey of how I got here. And it started with astrology, and it's so much more about consciousness, energy, soul. It's really this connection to this other realm.
Yeah. I feel your story deeply, because we do have a lot of synergies in terms of spiritual awakening journey. I also had a master's degree in interior architecture.
Yes, we talked about it.
And I'm like, I was, when you said that you left the company, I'm like, were you at Gensler? Because
No, but Gensler was my top. So I was at Perkins and Will.
Oh, okay.
They're both amazing firms.
Exactly. By the way, I left Gensler.
My dream after Perkins and Will, when I was working there, was to get into Gensler. But then I was like, wait, I don't want to do any of this.
Yeah, I was in San Francisco office. But anyways, because I had my degrees over there, so I did internships, and then it's kind of transitioning to that. But anyways, that's like a long story. But I also people were like, wow, you're at the top. Like, why would you still leave? And I'm like, I'm not designed for that, right? It's so much synergy. And then I was also lost, by the way. Like, I think I was like, it was 28 or 29. I don't remember, somewhere around that year. So for you, it's at 30. So it's around that time. I was like, all the stuff that I had built in the beginning, that. And then I actually first quit my PhD to become an interior designer. After the second master's degree, I quit again. And I'm like, I don't want to, like, from the society standpoint, it's like, you don't want to become the loser of nothing, right? But that's when also spirit has visited. Because I've been meditating for 7 years. That's why spirit asks you to go meditate. Like, for listeners who are, hearing, like, if you want to connect with the spirit realm, connect with your soul, that's the beginning. You need to meditate. And for me, it just happens spontaneously. Although I learned it from the textbooks, but you never prepare for what's going on. So I completely understand, the parallel, like kind of the journey of it.
It's wild, yeah.
And then when you get into and then you finally get into that, and then you like it took me a few years also to kind of incorporate it and really use it as a gift to offer as a service. I'm sure at the beginning you wouldn't say that I can do astrology reading for you.
No, it took me a
long
bit
time for you to kind of integrate, and then you understand how helpful it is to your soul. That's when you begin to offer that. Now, as you mentioned, I know that this recently happened to you, that you recently lost your home in the Los Angeles fire. That's almost like another episode of life.
Oh, it was.
Itself.
Oh, it was.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. What was that experience like, and what did you teach you about resilience, faith, and trusting life's timing? Because I understand that you have a hard life, and let us know.
It's just been one thing after another, but that's also what my soul signed up for. So to put this in perspective, the fire was horrific. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of people lost their home. The development that I was in, the complex I was in, it was apartments above stores. It was like this really cute area. That complex was saved. There was one store that burned because it was made of wood beforehand. And then one store on the end burned like the roof. And then my unit, there was only 8 units. My unit was the only unit to burn. They were able to put it out afterwards. So when I saw that I was the only unit to burn there, I said, of course I am. Not because of like, oh, bad things happened to me. It wasn't like that. I said, of course I'm the only unit, because I have been through this before. And I knew at that moment that this was an up level. I knew this was another dark night of the soul. I knew this was contracted, because how in the world is you were the only unit that burns there? My neighbors I saw them carry their stuff out afterwards when I'm in a hazmat suit with goggles and mask and everything, going through my place, trying to salvage anything, So I knew that this was going to be a big up level, and immediately spirit started connecting with me, and they were guiding me through the evacuation. They definitely didn't tell me to take more. I thought it was coming back, but that was also part of my lesson. And there were so many lessons that I learned from this, but what really happened is that it wasn't that my life was going on a wrong path, because I think a lot of people assume that like, oh, you had to be redirected. It wasn't. I'm still doing the same stuff I'm doing, but it needed to be rebuilt with a different frequency. And my soul agreed to this because it was going to get me there faster. So basically it's been a year and a half now since the fire, and I've been rebuilding every part of my life, my business, my personal, my relationships, everything in my life, because about 3 months after the fire, I realized, wait a minute. Okay. Nobody died. Thank God I was home with my dog. So I'm like, okay, it's just stuff. It's just stuff. But then I realized, oh no, it's not just stuff, because now I saw that I'm going through another dark night of the soul. And that was my journey. And so I basically had to die again inside, metaphorically speaking, and then rise again. So I'm a year and a half into it. They told me it's about a 2-year journey. And so I'm rebuilding everything. So many lessons. One, when we die, we don't take anything with us but our soul. So I think a lot of the spiritual community likes to think like, oh, I don't need this, or I don't like money, I don't need that. That's just a story too. It's okay to like money. It's okay to like stuff. What's not okay is when it defines you. But we are here to enjoy the material world. So I said this right afterwards. I said, I love beauty. I'm a Taurus. I'm an interior designer at heart. I'm an interior architect. And I had nice things, and I will have nice things again. So just because that it's gone, it just showed me that, it's just you're here to experience it while you experience it, but everything ends, right? And so you just get it again, and you get new things. And so it was very much this whole journey of letting go. Now, that doesn't mean, even though I saw spiritually what was going on right away, it doesn't mean that like the human part of me was okay. And actually, I shared with my audience, and I was very open about this, because spirit told me, share with your audience, because you are vulnerable and you're going to help people.
Thank you for being vulnerable. So it's such a good medicine to the world.
It's so easy for me to share because it's my truth. It is my truth, and it's my truth coming through. So it's when you're in your
truth, your throat chakra is open.
When you're in your truth, it's not hard. It's hard when you're lying. It's hard when you're forcing things. But when I'm just flowing and I'm being me, that I could share. So I shared with them afterwards, I needed to go to Florida. That's where my family lives, to just rest, regroup. And I said, my physical body is not okay. My actual physical body was filled with trauma because it was so jarring. Because in the morning I was sitting in my place, just admiring how beautiful it was, how I worked so hard to this was my dream place. I worked so hard to get there, and I was so happy. And then literally the afternoon, it was like everything was gone and never came back. So it was so jarring. And I haven't gone through a physical trauma like that. So it was actually good for me to experience what happens with the body when you go through that. So I went back to Florida because I needed to ground back in my body. It's one thing to get it on a mental level. That's great that Spirit's communicating with me. But now my physical body and this auric field here needs to process the emotions, because even if you get it here and spiritually, psychically, mentally, you can't bypass it moving through your body. It's your cosmic body that you need to move through. So I went back to Florida to process, to ground, to be my body, to cry, to be like, this sucks. And now I'm pissed off. Or I went through every stage. I'm like, I worked for everything I had and everything is gone. I barely got insurance money. I'm out millions of dollars and nobody gives a shit. So like, it was a hard journey, but also that is what it is. Like, there's no other way to say it. Right.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, I was home with my dog. I'm healthy. I went through Lyme disease. So I'm like, wait a minute. I just have to like rebuy all my stuff eventually. Right. Like, because when I was sick with Lyme, you could have everything you want, but if you're lying in bed and can't move, nothing matters. Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait a minute. Okay. So we'll rebuy my beautiful closet. We'll rebuy it, and obviously I lost things that were meaningful to me. One of the things I lost the most were my journals. So when I had my awakening at 30, I kept these amazing journals of all these things that eventually started coming true later. And I would journal with them with my dreams. And I lost all of that. And like, that was so devastating to me, but it's also like, it's okay. What Spirit told me when I was going through the fire, they said the memories are in your heart. And that's the truth. At the end of the day, it's a lesson. Like, all this stuff is nice and it might mean something to you if someone gave it to you. But at the end of the day, we leave this earth plane and we take our heart and our soul with us. So it's like, they say the Egyptians, they weigh you at the end, and it's like, is your heart light as a feather? Right.
Right.
That's what it is. So it's like,
beautiful.
Can you carry this love in your heart? Because you're taking none of it with you.
Wow.
So yeah, lots of lessons.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure it's not easy. And thank you for sharing with us so vulnerably. I think it's helpful also to share some perspective on the audience as well, for people who are going through hardships in their life. And I can tell, your perspective really helped you going through this hardship a little bit. Yes. Tell us, I think this will be really helpful for the audience to understand, is like, how like connecting with spirit, or how connecting with your soul, or even looking at your own astrology chart, like anything that's the wisdom that help you going through this process a little bit more. Like, how do you, it's really a hard thing, but how do you use, spiritual wisdom to navigate through this time?
I said after the fire, I saw very clearly, I said, I feel for everyone that lost their house. Altadena, Malibu, Palisades, everyone. It's horrific. But I said, I really feel for people if they don't have a good, solid foundation and connection to either their faith, God, religion, whatever helps them through. I'm like, that's going to be their awakening. And I'm like, oof, they're going to be, and I have full body chills right now. They're going to be going through it, because if I didn't have my connection to God, source, divine, my soul, whatever you want to say, I wouldn't have been able to get through. And I have this connection because of everything that I've been through in my life. And at the end of the day, I know the power of my soul. I know how strong I am. I always joke. I'm like, listen, I am not physically, like, I'm not running a marathon in this lifetime. I don't want to, like, at all. Like, my physical body is not built for that. But emotionally, I have the depth that most people will never have. And they don't need to have, because everyone is built differently. But I know that I'm a phoenix rising from the ashes. Like, that's just how strong my soul is. So that faith, that understanding of the bigger picture helped me through. And I will say, and it was still hard. And I shared that with my audience. Of course, you always get a lot of people being like, oh, you're still talking about it. You're being a victim. I feel for those people, because who would ever say that? No happy person, no person that loves themselves would say that. So that just showed where they're at on their journey. But I shared because I'm like, you can have awareness, you can have connection to God. And also, yeah, listen, it still sucks. It still sucks, you know? And I'm like, who loses millions of dollars? Like, nobody
Yeah.
plans to lose millions of dollars. I'm sorry. Like, that's crazy. It's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah. It's definitely still hard to go through, but
Yes.
being
Yeah.
able to connect with your soul and
Yeah.
spirit and knowing that this is one of the lessons you're going through is definitely going to help you to navigate this.
Yeah.
Now, after working, like I know you've been working on astrology charts for over 18 years.
Yeah.
So after with thousands of other clients, I'm curious that what is the biggest lesson, since we're talking about soul lessons, that you've learned that why people are stuck at their stage?
I know exactly what it is.
Okay, what is
people don't trust themselves.
Mm.
And everyone, and so a lot of times I'll go through a chart or I'll talk to a client and they're like, oh, I knew that. Or like, yes, I've been getting it. And a lot of people are stuck because they don't know the next move, which I understand. I mean, we're all going through that. But the reality is we have to create the next move. I think a lot of people are looking for like a blueprint of like, this is what you do next. But we're creative beings. And that's what Spirit is sharing with me all the time. It's like, you create it. And we're also moving in this with the astrology right now. We're moving from this like influencer age, and it's not going to go away. There's still influencers and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's the archetype of the influencer to the role model and the community builder, and that's what we're moving to. And so the role model goes first. The community builder says, I have an idea, let's all come together. So people don't trust themselves. They oftentimes want someone outside of themselves to tell them, and then they'll believe it, which is okay. There's no shame in that. We all have teachers, and that's okay. That's why we're here walking each other home. But also, my job is to say, you have these gifts, you have these abilities. This is how Spirit's communicating with you. Trust yourself, listen to these whispers. And then it's different because people they're scared, and it's okay. Like we all have fear, but that's what keeps people stuck. They don't trust themselves. And I mean, I've taken so many leaps. I've taken so many leaps where I'm like, I have no proof of anything, but I'm just trusting the feeling of just moving forward, and you do it. And if it doesn't work, you adjust. Like I moved to Miami for a little while, and then I went back to California, and people were like, oh, it didn't work out. And I was like, actually, no, it did work out. Me moving to Miami was the best thing that I ever did. I had a lot of fun, but also I was a little lonely, and it wasn't 100% aligned. And so people assume, oh, it didn't work out. No, it actually was perfect because I grew so much in ways I would have never grown if I stayed put. But then when that cycle was complete, my friends kept saying, come back to California, come back to California. We want you here. And I kept saying, no, it's not time yet. It's not time. And then when I got the clue, the cycle is complete, I said, now I'll come back, because it needed to finish work because my soul had a trajectory. So I think people need to start looking at something differently. Like even if you start a business and maybe it's not successful, that's okay, because that is going to lead you to your next thing, and you learn lessons in that journey. So I don't see things as not successful. And when people say that, they have a very limited consciousness of black and white, and that's not how reality works. Reality, as you know, is a full spectrum. Yes. And so when we're like, oh, are you Democrat? Are you Republican? Like it's very limited. And so my goal is to have people zoom out and understand that it's like, you could be a little bit of this, you could be a little bit of that, and then you fall over here. That's consciousness.
That's beautifully said. That's beautifully said. I can't resonate more. That's exactly, it's so funny when you said that people don't trust themselves. It's exactly also what I arrive at the conclusion of, what people needed, and I'm literally creating a series of videos, literally from overwhelm to self-trust, because people just don't trust themselves. And also, I think these soul oracle or the oracle system is literally to build. I summarize it this way. It's like to teach people how to fish themselves rather than giving them the fish. Yes. Just like exactly what you said, like rather than just telling them what to do, what's the next step, you want to give them the tools so that they can finally listen to their soul and trust themselves and go build a life it is. And I'm so much like you in terms of like making actions and all that. It's not like I know everything in advance, but I'm going to try it out, and I do not deem that as failure. Like like you moving to Miami and then coming back, it doesn't mean that. Like if you haven't
Exactly.
tried it yet, you never
Yes.
know. And maybe that's what
And
your
that's the
soul.
experience. I
Exactly.
literally changed as a human being by putting myself
Wow.
into a different situation, and that was success.
I love that.
And then when it's done, it's done. Everything has a cycle, and you know in your body when it's done. And that's it. And then you move on.
Beautiful, beautiful. I just so resonate with
Yeah.
what you just said and how a way of living, right?
Yes.
Now, you often describe the birth chart as a map of the soul rather than a tool for prediction, because talking about it, it's the same thing, right? It's like everybody want to come to you for a reading, like they come to me for a cosmic blueprint reading. They want the exact action. Okay, after this, I do that. And I'm like, no, this is not for prediction. Okay. So like tell people, what do you mean by that? And how can understanding your birth chart help someone to live a more aligned life?
Yeah. The birth chart is such a beautiful tool, and that's what it is. It is a tool. It's never meant to, I don't check in with it every single day and be like, oh, I can't do this because the moon is here, because that becomes a psychosis. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's not healthy. You have to trust your soul and the information that's coming through, and then you use it as a tool. So in terms of prediction, sure. Are there certain things that you can see? Yeah, I can see. Like, I've had clients and, they say the marriage isn't going well, but I could kind of see it before. So I, tiptoe around asking how, and then we can see that, okay, this is probably going to be a separation because your soul needs to learn X, Y, and Z. But it's not about prediction, because basically all the planets are archetypes. So when you understand the archetype and you understand what's going on, there's a bunch of probabilities. Correct. But what the person does with it is up to them and up to their consciousness. And also at this point in this video game that we're in, right?
Yes, that's
very hard
to describe it. Choose your own adventure game, right?
We're in this video game. Yeah. And there are so many probabilities happening. You do this, you decide this, you shift your frequency here, you move in, you bring this in, right? This might not have been available to you because your frequency wasn't there before. So to predict keeps people limited, and also people get it in their head, and that's not the case because timelines are moving so quickly. We're tapping into more of a quantum realm. Everything is malleable. It's like plasma. So we can pull in more timelines and we can tap into more timelines quickly. So there are probabilities. Yeah, there might be, like there's this man that I always see, like that's the highest potential for me, this one person, but I also see several other men that I can be with and marry. It depends on what I choose and what I want and where I go. So there's different probabilities. So I use the birth chart as a map of your soul to help you understand how you're wired, what direction, why your soul came here, what's purpose, what's frequency, what would light you up. So at the end of every reading, I have a to-do/to-be list. And I go through, I'm taking notes throughout. It's always recorded, but I'm taking notes throughout. And then I go through at the end, I say, if you focus on these areas, this is going to shift your frequency. This is going to bring in more of what you want. I'm not saying do X, Y, and Z and you will get this. I'm saying become this frequency based on what your soul is asking. And so we go over that. So it's really this alignment with soul, with self, with frequency. And this whole game is a game of frequency. And spirit it's a whole game of frequency. So here we are.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's exactly what I teach. There are multiple versions of you, simultaneously exist in the quantum. It's exactly like which frequency are you currently vibrating. It's the reality that you're performing. Just like by, focusing on your attention and intention, right? You can get to that, or you can get to the other. That's like totally changing. So when we approach to our birth chart, so don't think it's a fixed thing, because there was also like a free will, in the spirit realm. There was also, the respectful of your personal choice, right? If you really choose one of that, they're completely different than your birth chart. I mean, you're going to experience something else instead of this.
And
so
I would say there's certain soul contracts that we do sign up for. And I've heard people say this is not true. I'm going to respectfully disagree because of my path I've gone through to have these experiences, to talk about this. One of my books is about soul contracts. There are certain things that we sign up for to evolve our soul. It's not that this wasn't fair or this sucks, or, even after the fire, it's like spirit literally said to me, but did you die? And it's like, no. Okay, but you're good. And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Okay. I get it.
That's so reality. I literally like talk about past lives and soul contracts last week, like a solo episode before we talk about this.
Yeah.
Now, since you talk about soul contract, I'm curious, like, how would you like know that you're entering into a soul contract? Like, is it kind of afterwards, or is it like kind of in the middle of it? Like, how do you know certain things or certain people, even, that occur in your life, that happen in your life? Like, how do you detect it? How can you tell that you're entering your soul contract? There is lesson to be learned here.
At this point, for me, they tell me, and it's very clear.
Oh, so your spirit will tell you clearly.
Yes.
Okay.
And I know when I meet someone, I know right away.
Okay.
Now, does it mean it's going to be the most successful relationship? No, but sometimes you need to go through it. So for me personally, I'm shown, and I just kind of know right now. There are certain, lots of times they've told me, like, this is a choice. You can do this if you want, if you don't have to. So it's like there's free will. But for me, they're pretty much showing me. For other people, I think that by the intensity of it. If an intensity can go either way. Intensity could be like, wait, this is scaring me, and that could be a contract that your soul needs to work through. But it also can feel good when you're meeting someone, because that's also the attraction, so that you get the lessons, right? And then it turns out, okay, well, no, this person is maybe not for me. But that's a whole rabbit hole with like soulmates. But usually we see it, we're just like, oh my God, I'm in love. And because you feel the soul, the past life connection, so that you get the lessons with them. And then it doesn't always work out, but that doesn't mean it wasn't successful. It was exactly how it needed to be.
Yeah, that's right. So one of your favorite part, and also my favorite part of the birth chart, is the North Node.
Yes.
So I want to talk about that. So what is the North Node, and why you believe that it reveals the path your soul came here to walk?
Yeah, your North Node in your birth chart is your soul's evolutionary journey. So when I first started with astrology, not a lot of Western astrologers talked about the North Node, and Spirit told me focus on this. And I saw it's used more in Vedic astrology. It's not that it's not used in Western, but there's some that just don't. It's not like a big part of their teachings. And Spirit was like, focus on this. So I've been talking about this again for 18 years, about the North Node. And I'm like, oh, this is the hill I'll die on. I'm like, the North Node is your soul's evolutionary journey. It's one of the main reasons why your soul incarnated. Now, I tell people, it's not to tell me you're going to be Cleopatra. It's not about that. It's a frequency. It's the vibration. It's the lessons that you're learning in this lifetime that you're moving into. And the North Node isn't a one and done. You're not going to get it in a day, a month, or a year. It's an evolutionary journey. So, I'm very aware of my North Node. And just the other day, I was like, I think I'm not really doing my North Node enough, right? Because our North Node to us is hard. It feels foreign. It's not the easiest thing. What the opposite of the North Node is our South Node, and that is our deeply ingrained behavioral patterns. So the idea in a nutshell here is to understand the South Node, how you're wired naturally, and then move towards the North Node. Now, in an ideal world, you would just stop doing the shadow energy of the South Node and move to the North Node. But that's not how it works so easily, because we're human and we have to learn different behavioral patterns. And again, our North Node doesn't feel easy for us. Our South Node's easy for us. So our South Node has shadows, but it also has gifts. For example, my South Node is in Aries. I am a go-getter. I can jump on a plane across the world. I can start a business. I can empower the F out of people. Like, that's my jam. Okay. So I'm really good at that. But also
which house is that in Aries? Which house is that?
It's in the fifth house. If I use whole sign, I use whole sign. And so it's in the fifth house.
Okay.
With that. Yeah. So, but I'm also used to doing things alone, like kind of just take the bull by the horns and do it. And so I'm learning North Node in Libra, which is relationships. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to like ask someone a question. I'm like, I just want to go and get it done. I'm like, I have to check in with you. I'm like, no, I don't have time for this. Like, I just want to go do it, So that's my soul's evolutionary journey, is to learn these lessons. And obviously there's way more to it, but just in a nutshell. So it's a life journey of us moving into our North Node.
Yes. That's exactly the evolution journey. And that's why, I call it literally the Aura Evolution podcast, and everything is about evolution. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because my South Node is also in the fifth house. So I know
Oh, yeah.
individuality and
The
like
creativity. We both
Yeah,
did design.
we are fine. Yeah, that's why also creativity, right?
Yeah.
Creativity and design. This comes natural to us.
Yeah.
That's your gift frequency. But at the same time, going to the 11th house is about community. It's about, like humanity and all of that. It's not that easy.
No.
And to me, like North Node to me, it's in Gemini. So for you, you are already gifted in expression.
Yes.
But for me, it's actually a wound.
Yes.
Like from that shy Helen, like the Helen 1.0 that was born and raised in China, to this Helen that, sitting here having this conversation with you, talking about the soul, it's already a huge up. Like naturally, I am the type that just want to retreat. Like I'm happy on my own. Like I don't need to.
Sagittarius is like a wild horse running through the field, just like, let me do my own things.
Exactly. That's it. Yeah. So like Sagittarius and Gemini, but 5th and 11th house.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that, I also have some Aries energy, especially my 9th house, and my MC is literally there. So I also know Aries pretty well.
And I have a Mercury in Aries too. So I'm like,
wow.
God, sometimes I'm like, I'm so
That's
direct.
How you communicate. I like it. I'm
see
also
it.
pretty direct. I like how direct you talk.
I just do. I mean, in human design, my ajna and my throat are the only things filled in. My entire body is open. So I just see it and say it. And that's my thing. I'm just like, that's what I'm here to do, is just tell people. But with that, you get a lot of backlash because people are not ready to hear it yet. And
that's right.
I mean, I experienced that all 2020. I mean, everyone yelling at me. So, but I was like, you guys, let me tell you what's going on here. So
that's why it's an evolution journey. We need to learn the balance of it. It's neither good nor bad. The black and white thing you talk about at the beginning. It's not like that. It's the spectrum.
I learned a lot of lessons too with that, because I was like, oh, people are not ready to hear things. Okay. And then also I need to say it differently because they're not gonna hear it. So I was like, oh, okay. I mean, there was a lot of lessons because I'm like, I just literally saw it. And then I said it. So I was like, how is it not obvious to everyone?
Yeah.
I had to learn a lot of lessons too. And I'm like, wait, I shouldn't probably say it like that. Okay. Let me learn.
That's why when at the beginning, when I just started to see auras or perceive aura in the spirit realm, I would literally say that, hey, you look green today. And then, Michael is like right behind you. And I'm like, okay. And then, some people get scared. The face tells everything. And I'm like, okay, this is also a responsibility, Helen. Like, don't just jump in people's face and tell them exactly what's going on.
You're green, yes.
So, I learned that lesson also. Like, I kind of back off. I'm like, okay, so it's not your place to say anything if you don't get permission yet. It's actually not good for us, right? So I totally understand, where that is. I'm also like kind of self-initiating. So at least from that frequency, we're quite similar. But that's how, we're comfortable with.
Because that Sag will go in there and just blurt it out too. So
that's right.
Because the Sag knows. Sag South Node is so
just psychic. I look at you, I know everything. Like, but I cannot say anything yet.
Because it's also people's journey. So I'm really good at people's boundaries. Like I don't go up to someone and say something, but on Instagram and the collective, I was just like spewing things, but I'm like, oh, because I felt like it was so for the collective, so it wasn't personal, but people take it personally. I'm like, oh, people are taking that personally too. So I'm like, okay, we got to reevaluate the situation, how I'm delivering this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, talking about a collective, we're going into an eclipse season. But before that question, I would also mention that it's interesting that your spirit tells you to focus on the South Node and the North Node. That's actually what I heard also early on when I'm getting into astrology. I also am a Vedic astrologer.
I think you told me that. That's amazing. That's
right. So you learn the differences between the both realms.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing I want to point it out is that in Vedic astrology, when people ask you what's your sign, it's typically not even your sun sign. They actually talking about your moon sign. And in Vedic astrology, there were 27 moon signs representing the 27 and a half days of the month.
Wow.
So when like when you go to India, basically when you ask people, oh, what's your sign, when we're talking about astrology, they actually tell you in Sanskrit it's called a laskandra, so it's completely different name. Like when they talk about a sign, it's so in Vedic astrology it's really important. They place more importance on your moon sign, literally which day of the moon that you were born in, plus all they ask about is your Rahu. Rahu is basically the North Node.
Yeah.
And that's when I know that,
oh,
exactly. And he too, it's just the South Node. Those two are the importance, of the thing. That's when I really dive in, Vedic astrology. And also because I did a reading without knowing anything. And that astrology just tells me like, he knows myself more than I do. And then I'm like, oh, how can a stranger we never met tell me every single piece about my life without knowing me? That's when I get into that. So if you are, astrology lover, I highly recommend you to also check out Vedic astrology.
And one thing I want to say with that is there's different tools, because I really just irks me when people go online, they're like, Vedic astrology is correct, Western is not, or vice versa. To me just shows lack of consciousness, because they're all tools. Like, I'm never going to say numerology is better than this. It's just a tool. That's what it is. This is not an egoic thing. Nothing is better than they're just tools. And some tools resonate with people and some don't. That's it. So they're all tools, but they're all bringing us back to the same place.
Yeah, our soul's purpose, to be in alignment with our soul. That's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, that's why I offer a combination. Like I literally have a cosmic blueprint reading that use all the options, like human design, gene keys, numerology, as well as Enneagram, Vedic Western astrology. Because at the end of the day, once you learn more of these, you actually understand they're all pointing towards the same thing.
They do. That's why I like whole sign chart system, because I find that it's aligned with gene keys and human design.
That's right.
So. And it's not that Placidus, which is the default program. I don't find it wrong. It's actually very important. It's like the imprint of your emotional frequency. And so I take that into account too, but I see that whole sign is like where we're going and purpose. And it's completely aligned with gene keys and human design. So everyone has their own take on things.
Yes. I personally also resonate with that. I do look into both, but my personal preferences is also whole sign. So
nice.
In terms of a house system. Okay, so we are entering in a really powerful eclipse season. So it's going to bring a lot of the stuff up. So why do you believe eclipse season are some of the most significant turning points in our lives, and what should people be paying attention to?
Eclipse season are huge. They are game changers for our souls. So they happen roughly every 6 months, and there's two back to back. There's one, and then there's a 2-week window, which I call the windows in between. And then you have another eclipse. So it's either like a full moon lunar eclipse and then a new moon, or vice versa, just depending. And eclipses are connected to the nodal axis, okay? And the nodes are our destiny of where we're going. So eclipses move us along the path. Now, not every eclipse is going to eclipse your birth chart. And that's fine, because we don't want to go every 6 months and it's like, I got married, I got divorced, I got this, I got that. I mean, it's like way too much, because eclipses, they shift our human journey. Big events happen, new chapters open, chapters close. So marriages happen, divorces happen, babies happen, new jobs happen, a midlife crisis happens, right? Breakdowns happen. They shift us on our path. So whatever happens during an eclipse, this is important for your soul. Like, you could be trying to go one path forever and ever and ever, and then eclipse comes on and it just moves you over here. And you're just like, I've been trying to get over here for 20 years and I haven't been able to, but like clockwork, and that's why there's a divine timing to things too. It's frequency, it's eclipse season, it moves us on our path. So about a month before we start feeling the energy, so events could happen about a month before the eclipse, and especially that week before and a couple of days after around an eclipse, it's very emotional. Eclipses go in and they tap on like our old emotions, our old feelings. So sometimes people cry a lot during them. It's cleansing us out. So it is a very volatile time. That's a personal. And then on the world stage, we see events escalate. We see wars happening, terrorist attacks. Like there's big, massive earthquakes. Like that happens around eclipses all the time. So again, eclipses are like wild cards. So it's very hard to predict exactly what's going to happen on the collective stage. But oops, let me see this. Okay. But you can see when on your birth chart, you can get an idea of what's going to happen depending on what planet is getting eclipsed and whatnot. So they're huge. They're game changers for your soul. And we're walking into it right now.
If you want to kind of check out like, is that like we're doing eclipse in a particular sign or, with a particular planet? Is that something you should check out in your birth chart?
Yeah.
Like which side is your north node and south node currently?
No,
like,
you should look at,
right.
So the next eclipse is at 20 degrees of Leo. That's August 12th. And the following one is August 28th at 4 degrees of Pisces. Okay. So you look to see where 20 degrees of Leo falls in your chart. And this is where it's a little advanced technique because you need to see, like, is it aspecting anything? But, I'm building something to help you guys with that. So it's in the making. But yeah, if you know your astrology, you look at your birth chart to see if you have a planet or angle around those degrees. And if so, that's going to get eclipsed. So that means something is going to shift in your life. And really what it's having you do is you're moving to your next level. So it needs to mature. It needs to evolve. And right now, this eclipse is it's squaring my sun. It's conjuncting my Saturn. And I can already feel with Saturn is our responsibility. It's our discipline. It's where we mature. Again, doesn't matter your age, but we have to, it's like, everyone could be partying and then tax season comes around. It's like, you have to do your taxes. Okay. So Saturn is like the tax man, right? Or the tax woman. It's like, you have to get it done. So Saturn makes us look at reality. And I can already see with my career and stuff I'm working on, it's like, what do I want to build that's going to last? That's going to be sustainable. How am I presenting myself? I can see it's such on a different level of like really getting in there and like it's mastery. So it's not easy, Saturn. Saturn's hard. And I'm like, and I feel like I'm working so much right now. So, but I know it's a phase. This is Saturn. So
yeah.
The energy.
It is. Okay. So basically you're looking at, the degree where it's eclipsing in that particular sign. And also what's the planetary relationship or aspects with your planet.
And then what house it's in. But if it's not eclipsing anything, like making an aspect to something, it doesn't mean you won't feel the collective energy before, but it just means you're not getting eclipsed. And to be honest, good, breathe. Walk free for this eclipse season. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
The next one will come and get you. But again, it's not bad things. I mean, beautiful things happen. People get engaged. People get married. People meet people. You get awards.
It just means big event can happen in your life, but it doesn't have to be bad.
No, not at all. I see so many people getting engaged or married around eclipses. Yeah.
So, well, okay. So 28 degree of Leo is really close to my rising
20 degrees of Leo.
20 degree of Leo. Okay. Yeah. My rising, I think it's 19 degree of Leo. So I'm really close.
Oh, yeah. So this is going to hit your rising sign and also opposing your angle of relationships. So
correct.
Yeah. And angles are really important, as you know.
Oh, no. So it's hard. I don't know.
It's more of you putting yourself out there more. In different ways, because Leo is that expression energy. So like you stepping into more of that hard, you're not, but the hard energy and really like it's emphasizing being the leader.
Okay. Yeah, I can feel that actually coming. And
it's just asking for a new version of you.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly how I feel, both with a big event coming, in August. So keep an eye out.
You have a big event coming in August, and this is eclipsing your rising sign. So that's powerful.
That's right. Yeah. I will be at the conference early on. I talk about, during the landscape portal. Yeah. And then I will also have a big event coming on August 28th. That's my annual event. So, yeah.
Wait,
so
that's I guess literally the second eclipse, the day of the second eclipse.
Guess why Spirit asked me to pick the day, by the way.
Yeah.
So like you are sitting in your power that day. Let's do it.
Yep.
So, okay. I love this divine synchronicity. And this is such a fun talk with you. So if everyone listening would walk away with just one message from today's conversation, what would you want them to remember?
Follow your heart and your truth, and don't worry what society is saying. Everyone in society is confused and projecting their stuff onto people. Don't worry about it. Follow your path. who cares what people say? At the end of the day, as long as you know that you're in integrity, you're following your heart and you're following your truth, and you're, being a good person,
Yep.
who cares what people say?
Self-trust.
People are going to talk no matter what. I've been online long enough to know if you talk about apples, they yell at you because it's not an orange. So it is what it is. Don't even worry about it. Live your truth. You're the one that has to look in the mirror, and you're the one that has to connect to your soul and God at the end of the day. Not anyone else.
Well said. Well said. It's going back to that self-trust, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I love that. And you are a walking example of it, Danielle. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's not easy, but but I can't do anything that's not aligned with my soul, and that's why, being single and waiting for my person, because sure, there's a million people I can be with, but that's not my path. Spirit told me when I was 30 that it was going to be later in life for me, and that was a tough pill to swallow. And also, yeah, I mean, I know alignment when it's aligned, and it's, until it is, I'm not settling, and I have a beautiful life, and I'm showing people to never settle, ever.
How do you make peace when spirit deliver you those harsh messages?
Oh, I cried. I had a temper tantrums the joke is everyone's like, you're so strong. I'm like, yeah, because I had a million temper tantrums already. And I'm like, imagine being 30 and spirit being like, it's later in life and your baby's going to be later in life. And I was like, wait, what? No. So then I would lay in my bed. I just would cry and I'd be like, no. And obviously I've dated people, and obviously I've had beautiful experiences, but like my person, yeah, it's contracted later in life. And they've showed me a lot with that. So yeah, it was really hard. And then people are like, well, that's just, then you're believing it. And it's like, yeah, because I get messages from spirit and spirit guides me, and that's my truth. So
wow, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Saying with your truth, follow your heart, and don't worry about other people, whatever they're saying. And I'm sure you're with all the followings you have your Instagram, you've learned this lesson. So please trust yourself, audience. Yeah. And if people want to work with you and go deeper, into your wisdom, how can they find you? Do you have any community that you offer?
Yes.
Yeah, let people know all that you offer.
Yeah. So right now you can follow me on Instagram at I am Danielle Page, Paige.
I'll
and
definitely
then
put a link in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I have a membership. It's called Cosmic Body Collective. And actually I'm going live today in there. And so that's where I'm constantly updating people with meditations. We do the full moon circle. I leave voice notes. I write stuff. I do lives. I bring in guest speakers. So really it's how to navigate your life from a higher perspective. So it's me in your back pocket. It's $38 a month. It's so low, and I'm constantly giving. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Right now, I'm working on lots of other things. Again, my whole business model is shifting, so I will have more stuff coming. But right now, those are my two. And then I have a bunch of courses on my website, though, if people want. I've done so many incredible courses, so they're all there, so people can grab.
Awesome. Yeah, I will make sure that I will leave the link in the show notes today. And thank you so much for hopping on with me live today, Danielle.
Thank you.
And everyone, if you have any questions, leave it in the comment and we'll get back to you. Otherwise, I wish you a very beautiful rest of your week. And this podcast will be coming back on next Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And thank you for sharing your wisdom, vulnerability, and I love the direct communication, Danielle, that you have.
It just is what it is. It can't be any other way. So
speaking the truth, yes. Yeah, I would love to bring you back on another episode.
Oh, thank you. I would love that.
Yeah, sounds great. Okay,
thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for having us today.